Kelly has been such an amazing friend. I think that our friendship is just so unique and so special, and I am so thankful for how God has blessed me with you, and I am so thankful for how He's blessed me with John, and I heartily approve, and I am so excited to watch you guys together, and my prayer for you is that you will grow to love the Lord more and grow to love each other more. Amen.
It was short. I'm just kidding.
Well, I wanted to say too, just thank you to all of you for coming. It's fun to see all these great faces and fun to look out and see people who love us. So it's great. As I was thinking today about things to share, I was thinking about each one of my ladies who got to stand up next to me and thought of, as I was trying to think of stories of things that kind of characterize our relationship, each one of us together, I realized that all of my stories had something to do with how they've all influenced me and how they've all changed me. And so I want to share those stories with you. I'll start with Beth Ann. The story that I thought of is pretty random, but I can remember as we were growing up, Beth Ann and I loved horses. Everything, anything about horses. And we still do. And Beth Ann got a whole bunch of horse books from one of her relatives. A whole series of books. Her mom read through the first one and blacked out all the bad words. Well, then this book got passed on to me, and I read it, but somehow Beth Ann managed to pass up her mom on the reading, and Beth Ann was the one who blacked out the words that were bad, and I got to read those because Beth Ann had blacked them out. And I think that's pretty characteristic of our relationship, that Beth Ann has just been that pure, encouraging, good friend all along, and I'm thankful for that. And then Aaron and I knew each other in high school, and we got to play volleyball together in high school. I was thinking of times that, well, I'm going to share both stories that I was thinking of. I was thinking of when we were conditioning for volleyball one year, and we were running around the quad outside, and both of us were kind of bitter about all this, but Aaron says, let's sing. And so we sang some church song that we had just been learning, and so we were happier then. And Aaron just does bring lots of that joy to things that may seem mundane. Another thing that I learned in high school from Erin, she was really, really good at being able to balance being a part of family, friends, church, everything, and still being a student. And I remember Erin encouraging me and saying, being a student isn't everything. You can do a lot of other things and be interested and spend a lot of time with people as well. So that's very much Erin as well, just to be really interested in people around her. So that's one thing I remember. And Annie is a friend from college, and I was remembering, also sports related, Annie and I played volleyball together, and really the thing that sticks out to me is from when John and I were just starting our relationship. Annie and I were doing daily workouts to get ready for the next season of volleyball, and Annie was great. I was going through all these different things, as you kind of heard in the video. It wasn't necessarily just a smooth transition into our relationship. There were lots of ups and downs, and Annie was patient and a very good listener and interested in hearing all of the stories I had to say. Well, today such and such happened, and she was just great. So that's part of who Annie is, just a really good, faithful friend who listens and cares a lot. So thank you, ladies, for being my friends all along and still being my friends. I love you guys. And another thing I wanted to share too, just I've been thinking a lot about marriage lately, and and to kind of go along with what Nate was saying, I get this feeling lots of times that I am really wrong to be getting married, or that marriage is lots of reasons that I haven't been worried or that I haven't ever doubted that this was good. And I think part of that is getting to watch my parents, getting to watch my grandparents, and see that it was a really good thing. And seeing lots of examples, and I guess I could look out at lots of you too and say that your example of being married has been something that makes it okay. It makes it really good because I know that it's a good thing. So thanks to all of you.
Well, Kelly, I just need to say to you, I think back, people often say, enjoy every stage of your kids' lives because it goes so quickly, and it does. I've been going through photos for those collages, and I just have snapshots in my mind, too, of you with your little chipmunk cheeks and your pigtails, and all through your life, such a zest for life. She ate one bite out of every apple in the 3 boxes of apples we had brought home to camp. Did that with zest, and gymnastics routines out in our room addition, and playing piano, and sports, and everything you do with zest for life. And I wouldn't trade any stage of you growing up, and have wonderful memories, and look forward to many, many more with you and John together. And John, just like your dad mentioned, we've prayed for you for a long, long time, and you're an answer to prayer. And I just want to pass on a couple things. Something that your grandma, Rachel, said at the end of a card she wrote was, keep holding hands and keep looking up. And I think that my mom, Grandma Graff, would say is, you can never say I love you too much, or do enough kind and loving things for each other. And something that I think we'd like to pass on to you is, always remember, God is sovereign. He's good all the time.
I had my emotional moment, so I just want to share one little thing with you, John. And that is that Kelly is very perceptive. And this started at a very early age. One day when she was very young, how old was she?
2, 3. Yeah. 4, 3. No, probably, no.
4.
Old enough to talk.
I was sitting at the dining room table doing something I did routinely, which was, Tim will appreciate this, grading essays. And so I was reading away on these essays, and Kelly looked up to her mama and she said, Mama, does Daddy have 2 brains? And she said, Karen said to her, well, Kelly, is that because you think your daddy is so smart? I said, no, it's because his head is so fat. She's very perceptive.
Well, yeah, I want to give you this as a token of our love and appreciation for this. Okay, you have to give it this. Okay, now who's?
Came to Messiah College the very first day. There was a picnic for the volleyball team, and my daughter, as you saw in the video, welcomed Kelly to Messiah College, and I sat with Kelly and her parents at that first picnic, and my initial response meeting her that day was, she'd be perfect for my son John. But as a good mother, I didn't say anything to him. And they found each other on the campus anyways. We are so pleased to have you as part of our family. You are a very special addition. One of the things we've appreciated about each of our children is that they married not only wonderful spouses, but they also married wonderful families. And so we're very thankful for the Kennedys and all that they've invested in Kelly to make her the woman that she is today. I will tell you that one piece of advice that was passed on to me by my roommate's mother when I was in college. And she said, if you wait a long time and you marry the right one, you'll be glad you waited. And I thought that was good advice. But then she wasn't done. She said, if you wait a long time and you marry the wrong one, you'll be very glad you waited.
Well, I most mostly shot my wad last night at a reception. But I do have one thing. I've been listening for people wondering when they were going to say something about Kelly that I know that hasn't been mentioned yet at all. And it was because of her modesty that it was very subtle. And so I really didn't have, it really kind of snuck up on me. We were talking at one point along the way, and she said, well, you know, I have this work to do for such and such a seminar. And I realized, I said, isn't that an honors senior seminar? And oh yes, that is. But it never, she was so modest about it that she didn't brag about the fact that she was an honors student in Messiah. And so the first thing I thought when I heard that was, John wasn't. And so what I knew intuitively, I found out objectively when I found out that she was in fact honored by the program that she was in. And so she's an honor student at Messiah College. And that was news to me in a sneaky way.
And hugs are required.
And one thing that I'm just really excited about is, as I got to hear all the fun details of Kelly and John first started to be interested in each other and dating, but not specifically dating, it just became more and more apparent to me that I knew Kelly had this great gift of hospitality. I mean, she's just so good at welcoming people and bringing people into her life and into her apartment and introducing people to people she knows. And the more I heard about John, that also became apparent to me too, that John is also very much gifted with the gift of hospitality. So I just look forward to you coming to your house, to just watching your ministry together, and it's very evident that that's going to be a very welcoming, loving home, and that your ministry is going to be so much of having others in your lives and sharing God's love with them.
I'm going to stand up here because I'm short, like everyone else here. People in the crowd from mathematicians. But I believe it was 7 years, 9 months, 2 weeks, and 6 days ago that I married into the Chase family. And John was 14 years old and our best man. And Tim and I were so excited not to get married at that too, but we knew what John was going to be like as the best man. He was gawky and tall and spindly, and he could not stand still. And he shifted his weight all over. And his toast was filled with ums and ahs and ooh. And we were so thrilled, because it was exactly what we expected of John. And we loved John. And it has been a pleasure and a joy to watch him grow up for the past almost 8 years and become one of the most mature Christian men we've known. And so I'm so grateful to have been married into this family, Kelly, and I'm so glad to have you join us. Now, Kelly, I don't know so well. Tim and I moved to Texas several years ago, and we met Kelly for the first and only time before this weekend when her brother got married, and we drove up to Oklahoma to spend time with John. And the first thing that struck us about Kelly, we'd heard a lot about her at this point, and we'd heard that Priska and Mom had both had their eye on her from the very beginning. And we looked at her and we said, well, no wonder Priska likes her. She's practically a clone. She has the same speech patterns and the same mannerisms and